Wonderful. Serena, thank you so much for your time and agreeing to participate in this interview
Yeah,
for Morehouse College. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good, thank you. Happy Friday. What I
Happy
wanted to
Friday.
do with this, thank you. What I wanted to do with this call is just quickly go over some questions that hopefully can be inspiring to some of the students who have signed up for our course. So the first thing I want to ask you about is just your background. Tell me where you're from. Tell me your name and where it is you're from.
Hello, my name is Serena Fang. I am currently living in Austin, Texas, and I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I graduated from the University of Texas at Austin this past May, and yeah, I've been working at GitLab full time since September.
Nice, nice. So tell me, Serena, how did you first hear about software development and what were some of your initial thoughts?
I think I first got into software development through editing the HTML of my Neopets page when I was a kid. If you don't know Neopets, it's like a kids game where you get this fake online pet and you can customize your profile page to look however you want it just by changing the HTML. So of course I had the super sophisticated taste of an 8-year-old. So my background is like flashing GIFs and my cursor was all covered in flames or something. But I thought it was really cool just to be able to type some stuff and watch the page change. And in true software development fashion, the Neopet stuff was mostly copy pasting other people's code and hoping it worked. But I got into it more seriously in college. I got a minor in software engineering and I did a couple of software engineering internships.
Nice. So most important question of this whole interview, what was your pet's name?
Oh gosh, something like fuzzy dice, lots of X's and stuff. It was the early 2000s.
And how long did Fuzzy live for?
It's still alive in my account. It's just dying of starvation.
Okay. So thank you for that. So when you got to Texas, that's when you first started really taking a look at doing software development?
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular reasons? Was it a class or was it just something where you said like, hey, the industry's moving in this direction. I have interest in it?
Yeah, I think more the latter. I was always really interested in like computers and like, math and science and stuff. And I just figured it'd be a good career path for me.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. And so while you were in college, did you participate in any, or let's get into the internship part, right? So what internships did you participate in?
So most recently, I interned at GitLab last summer as one of the first interns in the engineering internship pilot program. I was on the configure team, which deals with ops stuff like Kubernetes and infrastructure as code and Terraform. Before that, I interned at a SaaS startup in Austin doing, like org chart, HR, backend software dev with Ruby on Rails. And before that, I interned at Fujitsu up in Dallas doing integration testing in Python.
So it sounds like clearly for 3 summers, you had your mind focused on software development in some form or fashion, right?
Yeah.
So I guess when you were in college, you realized this is a path I want to take, right? Okay, nice. So in the internship that you said it was a pilot program. So could you tell me a little bit about what you were doing here at GitLab, a little bit more in depth?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, like I said, it was the pilot program. I think there were 4 engineering interns that we brought on. And yeah, like I said, I was on the configure team, which I felt at first a little bit out of my depth. I had never even, heard of a Kubernetes, let alone like worked in it or anything before. So definitely a pretty steep learning curve, but I had, the support of just awesome teammates around me who were really willing to help and to teach me and stuff. And yeah, it went pretty well. That lasted from May until the end of August.
Right. So also what's really interesting is the fact that you recently graduated and you were recently
Yes.
so many of our the students here are in a similar path where they're adjusting to being in a predominantly remote world for a lot of them, whether that's school, life, etc. Right?
Hmm.
Was this your first time, or was last summer your first time having a remote job?
So yes, it was my first fully remote job, but I mentioned that a startup that I was working in Austin, that was a summer internship that transitioned into like a um, a part-time ongoing thing during the last year of school. So I was mostly working from from school, from my apartment, and then maybe 1 or 2 days a week I would go into the office just to, ask any questions that I had and meet up with people. So I had a little bit of experience with like hybrid remote before,
Hmm.
but
So,
yeah, this is definitely the first full remote thing that I've done.
so how's it been for you being remote now as a professional?
It's really fun. I think the work-life balance is pretty cool being remote. The company doesn't really care how much like your butt is in the chair. They just care about your output. So there's like days that I want to, take an extra long lunch or something. And just like that's just totally fine as long as I'm getting my work done. And yeah,
Yeah. Now,
definitely gives me flexibility in my schedule.
now, will you ever go back to being in a place where you want to be where you want to be in the office full time again?
Uh, I guess I sort of miss having like coworkers around me to like chat with me like in person and stuff, or just like, like roll over and tap someone on the shoulder. But I mean, I pretty much get that just by like slacking people. Everyone's really like open to, talking and answering quick questions and stuff.
Nice, nice. Well, that's cool. So,
Mhm.
tell us about your current role at GitLab.
Yeah, so I started in September on the Manage Access team as a full-time backend engineer. The access team deals with, of course, access control, authentication, permissions, access tokens, SSH, SSO, that kind of thing. Um, And yeah, I think the access team is pretty important to how our customers think about our product. If we're doing our job correctly, a company should be able to get a new user like onboarded into GitLab with, the right permissions at the right time and to all the right resources. And, it should be a good user experience for the new user and the administrator doing the configuration. And, of course, it doesn't stop at onboarding. Managing permissions and access is like a constant security requirement, and we provide a lot of must-have value to our customers, I think.
Okay, nice. And you've been on that team since September, you said?
Yeah, so only a couple months.
Okay. How does it differ from the internship that you did?
Um, I think I'm given like more freedom. There's a little bit less like guidance and stuff, which is cool and also a little bit scary because I don't really know what I'm doing yet. But I guess the work itself is maybe a little bit more familiar to me. It's pretty much completely in Ruby, whereas the internship I was learning, like Terraform and Docker and stuff, which were totally new to me.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about your day to day, like the actual activities themselves. What type of projects do you get to work on?
I'm focusing a lot on project access tokens right now. So basically just, working out kinks in there, solving bugs and stuff. Most of my day is spent coding with only like a little bit of time spent in synchronous meetings or, answering, emails, stuff like that. So mostly I get to, head down and focus all day, which I really enjoy.
Okay. So for some of the newbies who are going to be listening to this, can we talk about what project access tokens actually are and how that relates to what customers have to do?
Yeah, so basically there's just a token that you can put, it's sort of like a password almost. So you can use that token to manage things in your project, whether that's like, members or turning on and off like feature flags and stuff.
Nice. And your end customers who do it, are they basically the administrators of GitLab?
Yes, mostly.
Gotcha. So it wouldn't be the everyday person who logs in and uses GitLab. It might be that person's director or supervisor who then determines who gets access to GitLab.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, nice, nice. And let me see. So since you were both an intern and now transitioned into sort of a full-time employee, um, what do you think are some of the skills that you developed that made you attractive to GitLab? And then what have you developed since you've been at GitLab that makes you an even more attractive employee?
Yeah, so definitely I had some technical experience. I had about a year's worth of Ruby on Rails industry experience from my, previous startup internship, as well as a little bit of experience in React JS. We don't use React, but we use Vue, which is similar-ish. Um, More soft skills, like I mentioned, I was working part-time and remotely for that SaaS company. So I think already being comfortable with remote work made me pretty attractive to GitLab. Let's see, where have I gotten stronger? Definitely technical skills. I feel like I've learned so much and there's still so much left to learn. I think my communication skills have, excuse me, ironic. My communication skills have gotten a little bit stronger. Since we're all remote, a lot of communication has to be done asynchronously. So I've had to learn how to deliver important information more clearly and efficiently. Also, I've definitely been working on my work-life balance and my time management skills. Like I mentioned earlier, since we're all remote, it can be tempting to slack off some days. And then, on the other hand, I've definitely had days where I start working in the morning and then suddenly it's like 9 p.m. and I've only gotten up like once just because I'm so focused. But yeah, luckily, GitLab encourages to take time off. And if you're getting all of your work done, then, that's all that really matters.
Right. So thank you for that. So as a recent grad, how do you see the job market for people who might be juniors and seniors now? And what advice would you give to them as they think about entering the job market and specifically software development?
Job market in this economy. No, I'm kidding. Luckily, I'd say that software development didn't get hit too hard by the pandemic, I think. Actually, since everything is all remote now, a lot of companies are realizing the importance of their online presence and of the importance of good quality software, which means more software jobs. So I think there's plenty of opportunities out there if you just kind of go for it. I guess advice, definitely be confident, apply for jobs that you don't 100% qualify for, take the interview even if you know it's going to be hard. Basically, companies mostly just care about communication, whether that's communicating due dates or blockers to your team, or your plans and approaches to solving a problem. They also care about experience from internships and stuff. So everything else like GPA, cracking the coding interview, whatever, that's just, sprinkles on top. So be confident in what you have and what you already know. Getting a job is kind of just a numbers game. So send out your resume everywhere, apply everywhere, take every interview, and you're bound to get something.
All right. And how do you see the industry transforming in the next few years, given that you've had access to security, Kubernetes, microservices? What do you think is going to take shape in the next 3 to 5 years?
I don't know if I've been in the industry long enough to know exactly how it's going to change, but one thing that I do think is important for, new college grads and stuff to focus on is to seek opportunities outside of regular classroom curriculum. Classes definitely lay down, a lot of important foundation, but you learn a lot from doing industry work on a real software team. Internships are awesome. I probably learned more in 4 months at GitLab than 4 years at UT. Take online classes in anything that seems interesting, particularly DevSecOps. School really teaches you how to develop, but doesn't really touch the security or operations part. So I think more and more companies are seeing the value in adopting a DevOps model. So becoming familiar with stuff like Docker or system administration, AWS, that'll give you an edge. And this class that y'all are in right now, this kind of thing is so important. I've read the syllabus. I wish I had a class like this in college. Agile, CI/CD, Git, version control, of course, developing real features in a real development cycle with the support from real engineers. That is so awesome and so important. And yeah, I hope you'll really take advantage of this class and that you're having a good time.
Wonderful. Well, Serena, thank you so much for your time. This has been awesome. Anything else you want to quickly say to the students?
No, not so much. Just have fun. I hope you're having a good time in class.
All right. Thank you. That's going to end this interview for now. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.